Hi everybody, welcome. My name is Kasey Wallace and I am a trans channel for an enlightened masters group named Julius. We're bringing you this new program called Just Ask Julius, and in this episode we wanted to give you information really on who Julius is, how this phenomenon took place or is taking place for me or for you right now in the moment of now with all of the transition that's happening worldwide, and give you a little bit of information that will help get you familiar with what's going to be taking place with the programming that you're going to be watching. The phenomenon of Julius started for myself approximately 13 years now. It's been about 13 years ago now. And Julius is a group of enlightened masters that have actually been human. They have walked their way through the human experience, and because of that, their messages are very, very relevant and very, very useful to those of us who are now walking through the human experience, trying to stumble and possibly fumble our way through difficulties, issues, stresses, anxieties, fears, real challenges and traumas, and really kind of wondering where all of this is leading us to, and how this process works for all of us. Do we ever reach a point in our existence where our consciousness is so high and so expansive that all of the difficulties and all of the challenges for our lives truly does kind of dissolve away, and we can live in paradise on Earth, on this Earth ship? We're going to be giving you all kinds of information on those things and much, much more through this program. Through the years, with myself channeling Joyous, there's common questions that come forth from humans. Most of us have very common issues going on in our lives and are frightened by many of the same things, and Joyous addresses all of these issues with everybody and helps to transcend everyone through all of these challenges and difficulties in their lives. The group is a fairly large group to date. We are familiar with knowing that there are approximately 49 members in the group collective of Joyous. And many people have asked, well, why is Julius a group if they've been individual like humans? Well, when we are in low states of consciousness, we are living mostly in the perception that we are individuals, even though we've heard the term that we are all one, that we are all source energy expanded into souls and into individual encapsulated type of experiences. We live in those types of realities as long as we are in a low state of consciousness. Once a soul or a person or an embodiment of any kind raises their fields of consciousness and comes into a very high state of consciousness state, commonly known as Christ consciousness or a hyperconsciousness state, you truly do come back to the full engagement and knowing that you are all one. And so your perception really slides back into kind of a we component instead of an I component. And really, we have accessibility to all energy, all thought, and all possibility. So Julius informs us that because they are in that state of consciousness, they refer to themselves as a group or we. It really does come back to them being the all. But we have been able to distinguish between about 49 different personality types that can come through when the group is coming through me and having discussions with people and audiences. And so we just kind of honor the component of that. I suppose that's our own human side of needing identifiable markers as to what we are experiencing. The last time that the predominant personality that we've come to know as Joyous had a physical embodiment here on this Earth ship, we've been informed was approximately 1,500 years ago. And even though that may seem like a long time ago, the issues really are still all the same for all of us, from civilization to civilization here on the Earth ship. Because we have been human embodiments, there are primarily key components to the human experience that we are desiring to master. And even though modern or old-fashioned times, technologies, fashions, economic systems and styles and religions and things like that can have a shift marginally to the way they work, there still are very common thought and emotional issues shared, we believe globally, across the Earthship between humans that we are all trying to work our way through so that we can hit those high fields of consciousness. The phenomenon started through a near-death experience that my husband had due to a car accident that he had in 2007. At that time, our lives were not what they are now. That I had personally had lots of intuitive gifts, a fair amount of intuitive gifts, and spirituality kind of swimming around in my energy field, but not really fully engaged in this in any way. But I think that because I had some intuitive gifts, it helped to work as a doorway or a gateway for Julius to be able to use my energy field to really connect with my husband Brad at that time. So Brad had had a near-death experience because of a car accident. During his near-death experience, he is actually the one that made connection with Julius. On the other side, Julius fully embraced Brad and cradled him during the emergency situation that he was going through, which was about an 8-hour timeline. And during that time, he had the opportunity to become very familiar with Julius, ask them all kinds of questions, feeling very much like this is a returning to a familiar home place for him. And before he made the decision to come back to this life and continue in this physical realm, Julius asked him if he'd like to come back. He said he would, but he'd like to continue the communication and the connection and the relationship with them, and they had assured him that they had already made arrangements with that. When Brad woke up in the hospital room, I was then instantly became the facilitator for Julius to use my voice and my body to continue to communicate with Brad. That's what you're going to be experiencing here. So Julius uses my body and my facilities just as a transmission component so that you can hear what they have to say and get a sensation of their message firsthand. There's many forms of channeling. Almost everybody channels. This is where inspirational thought comes from. Artists, athletes, musicians, everybody channels in a form. There are some people who trans-channel, and that's where you're going to be experiencing with me, where really that energy is using about 80 to 85% of my conscious awareness state in my facilities. There's still a residual component of my consciousness being there, of course, for safety purposes if I'm on stage, or obviously so I can pull myself in and out of the situation without feeling like I have no control of what's going on at all. We have found in our lives that with the relationship with Joyous, we sometimes feel like we've had a little bit of an advantage in life to be always readily connected with this type of encouragement and guidance. But we also want to make sure that you understand that Joyous does not control us. They do not govern our lives in any way, shape, or form. They are always from the position that we are empowered beings, and they are teaching us or helping us to remember that we are. So it's not like we get to skate through everything where we don't have to worry about making a bad decision or a wrong decision or a limited decision. Julius fully allows all of those facilities to be for us. It's just kind of like having open, continual access with a higher version of your own self, which again can provide extraordinary comfort when life becomes difficult. We decided to share Joyous with the world about 12 years ago. And so in this timeline, we do all kinds of courses and classes and live presentations and things like this, where we are desiring to assist you on your journey as well, letting Joyous make these connections with you, letting Joyous assist you to remember all that you are and the fully empowered being that we have somehow disconnected ourselves from. But it is time to reawaken that truth for us. In these conversations brought forth to you in this program, we're going to be hitting all kinds of topics. Sometimes things are very lighthearted and easy to comprehend and embrace. Others are going to push the boundaries of your thoughts and your acceptances. Joyous's message is extremely powerful because, although this may seem controversial to some, Joyous is going to fully support that we are God in form. And because they have been human and were able to ascend their consciousness through the human experience, their messages are very useful and very powerful for us in this form. We do not have to wait until we exist in another realm, in another dimension, on another plane, before we are able to actually realize and embrace that we are God. Through these conversations, though it may rub against some of your current belief systems, we invite you and encourage you to open your mind and accept the possibility that these messages could be true for you. Please take away the golden nuggets for your own self from everything that is spoken of. For everything comes with love, from love, in order for you to remember that you are love. Joyous can be very enthusiastic. We don't want you to misinterpret that in any way. They are your greatest cheerleaders and rooting systems for everything that you do. And they do not have judgment over what we do. They simply answer questions and provide guidance per our request. We truly believe that everybody has been requesting assistance in this lifetime for themselves, and that's part of why you have embodied yourself this time, in this lifetime, is to break free of the prison of ignorance, blindness, and amnesia for your own self in order to live joyously and expansively on the earth this time around. It is with great honor that I am the facilitator for Joyous. It is not always an easy choice. It is not always a seamless choice. And sometimes things can be challenging for me personally as I try to bridge the gap between who I am as an individual and who I am as the conduit for this group. Joyous is not here to impose themselves on me or on you. They have a relationship with all of us. They have become trusted friends to my husband Brad and I. We know that we have shared many, many lives together with them. We have been on councils and collective workers of assisting those out of their limitations in different lifetimes, in different timelines, and many of you have probably had possibly those experiences as well, especially if you resonate with Joyous. Everything expands itself, and so what you will be witnessing in this program, Just Ask Julius, always has a component of expandability to it. Sometimes you'll notice that a conversation may go in one direction, and then in a whole nother program, it may take on a whole new light or whole new truth to itself. That's how Joyous works the expansiveness of thought. And it's also how they work the expansiveness of us as well. So we invite you to stay open-minded and joyous through the experience of the program that we're bringing to you. It is our desire, Master, to allow you to know the joyous component of all that you are. We desire to bring forth this intention, this enlightened state of knowing and being, So that in the expanded experience of knowing that you are source, so shall you expand your realities far beyond the limited parameters of what you have accepted thus far, lives the extraordinary possibilities of thought. And as a human being, you have perceived thought in such limited ways that thoughts are only viable and important to you based on the relevance of how they can work for your benefit as you walk on the Earthship in this timeline. We assure you that most of you have only utilized a very small fragment of thought possibility in this life, in this reality, and on this world. And that is why your world's realities continue to regurgitate and repeat themselves. It is because you have blocked yourself from the never-ending expansive possibilities that all thoughts can become. Through these conversations, we will push the boundaries of what you have accepted as the only truths and allow you to see that there is more truth out there than any of you could comprehend fully. But it's okay, because just the invitation to invite you in to know yourselves as being more is a joyous state and a truthful state. Our desire is to get you away from that which confines you, from that which saddens you, from that which traumatizes you. It is our desire to fully empower all that you know yourselves to be in the being of the creators of your reality, so that those limited components of what you have felt will dissolve away. Better than that, they will transcend themselves into the higher echelon fields of joy and happiness. For once you know yourself as the fully empowered being, all limitation and resistance dissolves away. It is only through resistance and limitations that you feel stress and anxiety, pain and suffering. And these conversations are designed to not just calm you and reassure you, but to spread you out, to encompass you, to invite you, to assist you, and for you to know you as the all. For in doing so, Masters, we become more as well. For Source is a never-ending, infinite possibility of all that shall become, in a fractalized version of itself in the moment of now. And if that which we just spoke is a little confusing to you, it will not be by the time you saturate and deepen yourself into the programming that we are here to provide with you. You are loved more than you could possibly comprehend, though you have forgotten that. And therefore, for many of you, you have forgotten how to be that, or how to do that. We are here to assist you in your remembrance of all that you are. In these programmings, we do not ask you to take our word for anything emphatically. We simply drop suggestions of thought possibilities in order for you to expand your minds. In order for you to do that, you must step away from judgment of these thoughts, to perhaps move completely out of what has become your comfort zone, and unfortunately then been the contributor or the creator of your limited realities. If we could take you into the expansiveness of all that you are, simply for a moment, and trigger and unleash your freedoms, your truths, your endless wisdoms, your creative flow, then we have done our job, even if it's only for a moment. As you transcend from levels and stages of consciousness in your world, in your life, and in this reality, not only does the holographic projection shift and change, for you are the camera projecting your life out in front of you, but your relationships will change, your health and wellness will change, your monetary flow will change, and your ability to know yourself as the all will change. There is the possibility that genius shall unleash itself, and you may sit in awe of that which you will become. You will do this with compassion. We will try our hardest to keep you away from an arrogant, all-knowing state, and sit fully in the compassionate position of the all-knowing position. Joyous has many, many personalities in their group. We're never quite sure who's going to be coming through, so as this program unfolds for you, you may find it feels like there's a little different personality giving you the message for the day. We just trust that Julius will kind of make the decision as to who is appropriate to be speaking to you on any given subject matter on any given day. There is also a member collective group within the Joyous group known as the Quaraxians. They are light beings, pure light beings, and so sometimes through the programming and what I'm going to be providing transmission to you, through me, you may see my hands moving, some coding taking place. I might slide in and out of a little bit of light language here and there. That's simply the Quaraxians stepping in and providing some type of a pure energy transmission for you while we're having a conversation. So those are some of the things that you may be able to, you may unexpectedly experience, but that's kind of an explanation for them. They're coming through more and more as well. My husband and I and Julius felt that this programming is timely for you and for all of us. And we do understand that you follow many, many, many teachers, many practitioners, many, many light workers. And we support everything that you are doing in your life as long as it is bringing you joy and expansive truth. We invite you into these conversations and into these transmissions simply to do the same thing. Our intention is to expand your world, expand your mind, expand your knowing that you are the all. And with Joyous's assistance, perhaps we can all find our way there. Thanks everybody for being with us today. We look forward to the conversations that are about to unfold. We'll see you next time.